Ronaldo Nazario, the greatest what-if in world football. What do you remember about Ronaldo Nazario de Lima, his hairstyle from back in 2002 when he powered the Brazilian side to a legendary World Cup triumph? Or the out-of-shape shadow of his former self who played for AC Milan, or perhaps as an afterthought mentioning the best players of the 21st century? Whatever you think, it is a known fact that Ronaldo Nazario was one of the most talented players of all time and could never fulfill his true potential. The biggest what-if in world football. There are so many stories of untapped potential in world football, players who never really achieved their true potential. But no story is as tragic as that of R9. He had a start to his career that most players could only dream of. At the tender age of 17, when the great Cafu turned up at a game of his, R9 knew he had to impress the great. Scoring 5 goals in a 6-goal humiliation of their rivals, R9 left Cafu amazed at the talent of the young man. Ronaldo showed he was truly a phenomenon. Soon enough, Europe came calling with the likes of PSG and then Barca recognizing the talents of El Fenomeno. When you look at the list of the players with the most goals by age 21, R9 tops it by scoring a whopping 167 goals in 185 appearances. He had secured a Ballon d'Or at the age of 21, a feat most players can only dream of. For context, Haaland managed 118 goals by 21 and Mbappe managed 116. Just imagine if he had been allowed to continue on this hot streak for the rest of his career. Alas, it was not to be due to one fateful incident: the horrible injury. Just when everything seemed to be going perfectly in the life of young Ronaldo Nazario's career, the Brazilian went through a completely unexpected turn of events. On November 21, 1999, at the ripe age of 23 years old, the Brazilian attacker suffered a terrible knee injury, rupturing his patellar tendon in a game against Lecce. While it might have been the first of a host of other injury problems, the young body of R9 still had to endure a 5-month rehab period. As he returned to the football pitch, to the utter joy of Inter Milan's fans, no one knew the tragedy that was to follow. But little did they know that they would once again be undergoing a bout of dismay, seeing their favorite Brazilian striker experiencing the agony of another physical injury. And so it happened. Ronaldo played his comeback game against Lazio amidst high expectations and excitement from the fans worldwide. But as fate would have it, the phenomenon with the world at his feet, who had just played 7 minutes of his comeback game, suffered a vicious setback. Just as he turned his right knee for his famous fake dribble over the ball, aiming to get through between 2 defenders, Nazario suddenly collapsed onto the ground to the utter shock of the fans. There was a whole minute of Ronaldo growling in sheer agony, clutching his dear right knee in pain. You didn't have to be an R9 fan to feel devastated at the scenes unfolding in front of your eyes in that Serie A encounter. Ronaldo was taken off the field, and the fans present there on that day can still recall the shrieks of the Brazilian as he was carried through the tunnel. Years after the incident, Ronaldo Luis Nazario de Lima still recalls this heart-wrenching event in a positive light, claiming it to be a source of energy for him. Sometimes I look back and I think about the operations when I was lying in a hospital bed and blood was pouring from my knee. I think of that time and the pain, and it gives me strength. The redemption. The Ronaldo that returned after 2 years was not the same. He had put on weight, he had lost his pace, but he could finish the ball like no one else. But he wasn't what he used to be. Then I got injured and it was more difficult to score goals like that because I lost a fraction of speed. I couldn't go past 5 or 6 men anymore, so I had to reinvent myself. He was now a poacher of the highest quality who could finish like no one else. And certainly, it must have been this unwavering vigor of his that enabled him to make a comeback in the following World Cup of 2002, and that too in an emphatic fashion. A feat not many would have been able to pull off after recovering from a knee injury as bad as his. And boy, did he impress everyone on the big stage. His exceptional World Cup return was capped off with 2 exceptional goals, outfoxing the legendary Oliver Kahn twice as Brazil won the World Cup with flying colors. Words of legends. It is tough to compare players from two different generations. They play in different eras, against different caliber of teams and different players, but the only players who can indulge in such a comparison are players who have played with players from both generations. And in the case of R9, players who played with him always remembered him as the best. Paolo Maldini, the best defender of his era, compared R9 and CR7 in the following words, also naming two of his greatest opponents. He, Maradona, and Ronaldo, the Brazilian, are the strongest. I didn't play against Messi, thank God. CR7 is a great striker, but he has less magic than the other two. Alessandro Nesta, another Milan, said, I played against Messi, against Cristiano, but the Brazilian Ronaldo, for me, was different. A disrespected great. People are often unfair to R9, not giving him the respect he deserves. While having a name similar to Cristiano Ronaldo didn't help, others would mock him due to his weight. In 2013, when Sir Alex was comparing both players using the language many casual viewers have also adopted, since if I compare Cristiano with the fat one, the old one, Cristiano is better. With not too many people vouching for his greatness, his legacy has surely been tarnished by his unfortunate injuries, his hypothyroidism that led to excessive weight gain, and his morbid depression. But football, it seems, never stops for anyone, even if you were R9, arguably the greatest forward in the history of the game.